that the show is doing well is having, a lot of character development and a lot of mysterious and intriguing characters in it. Like, you want to learn more about Andor. What is his backstory? We're kind of getting more of it and more of it, but like, you still want to learn. Like, what is his backstory? You want to learn more about him. He's kind of still a mysterious character that you want to learn more about. You want to learn more about Bix. What is her deal? You want to learn more about Marva and B, and Eric Selvig. I'm just gonna call him Eric Selvig because I know him from Thor. But you want to learn more about all the characters, like because they're all mysterious and intriguing. There's intriguing stuff about them that you want to learn more about them, and that is so cool. That's good when a show can do that, can like really pull you in by having these intriguing and mysterious characters and developing these characters. I mean, the first two episodes, again, it's really slow. It's really slow paced. There's not a lot of action in them, but they're very character based, dealing with the character interactions, showing interactions, the relationship between Andor and Bix and Tim, and Andor and Marva, and then you have the whole thing with like the sentry guard that's going to be going after them, and so I just think that just the first two episodes do such a good job at getting the character interactions figured out, developing this, setting up the story, developing the characters and their interactions and all of that, to have the kind of big stuff in the third episode where you see, Eric Selvig coming in, and, you see it all kind of come together, where Eric Selvig comes and the sentry guards come, and, Andor has to leave the planet with Eric Selvig, and it's just done so well that, yeah, these two episodes, they're kind of slow, but you get to the third one and you see why, you see all of the, the first kind of payoff of the season. The first big moment in the third episode. And that's why I think it was such a great idea. I was kind of skeptical when they said, oh, we're going to release 3 episodes. I was like, 3 episodes? Are you sure? That kind of seems like a lot. But I think that was a great idea, because I think if they only released the first one, it would be like, that was really slow, nothing happened. Second episode, even if they did the first 2, it would still be like that. It'd be like, wow, this, not much has been happening on this show. You kind of got to get to it. But third episode, I think, really shows, okay, here's the action stuff. You want it first. You're going to be complaining that the first episodes are slow. So we're going to give you the third one. So you get your action. You get kind of the payoff. And I think that was good. I think these 3 episodes really work well together, as the first 2 episodes being the setup to everything that happens in the third episode. You couldn't have the third episode be so impactful without the first 2. I mean, you have Tim's death. That wouldn't be so impactful if in the first 2 episodes you hadn't shown the relationship between him and Bix. It wouldn't have been that impactful. But because you had 2 episodes where you're showing Tim and Bix, when Tim dies in the third episode, it's so impactful. And you're like, oh, why did that have to happen? And then with Andor leaving the planet, it's not as impactful if you hadn't shown all his relationship with everybody, with Bix, with Marva, with B. You see that for 2 episodes, and so in the third episode, when everything goes down, it's so much more impactful. And they have this flashback thing going on with Andor as a kid, and I think that does a good job. At first I'm kind of like, okay, what are we doing here? I guess you're showing him with his sister who he's looking for, but what's exactly going on here? And in the third episode, you realize you're showing the last time his life changed. The last time he had to leave his life behind and go off with a parental figure. Last time it was Marva. This time, it's Eric Selvig. And so I think that was so cool. And I think just the ending of the third episode is done so well when they're cutting back and forth between the flashback and the present day to really show this is the same type of moment in his life. Last time, Marva rescues him and, takes him with her and leaves his old life behind, his tribe behind. And you see it again here. He has to leave that planet. Everybody knows there to go off with Eric Selvig and become a rebel. Just so good. Just this storytelling of like that. Just I feel like again, nothing else in Star Wars really has done this kind of complex thing recently. It's just like this such a cool thing of just like you get it by the end of it. Like I was even kind of confused in the third episode because kind of feel like they were weirdly cutting between the flashbacks and the present day to kind of it almost felt like they were happening at the same time. Like it was like, okay, I know that part was a flashback, but it seemed like it was leading into this in a weird way. Like it seems like it was happening still at the same time, even though I know it's a flashback. And I think that's because it's supposed to be the same moment. It's supposed to be the same thing. Again, Andor's life changing, leaving his old life behind, entering a new one. So well done. And overall, I just think that these 3 episodes just do such a good job at just showing what this show is going to be. It's showing that, yes, it's going to have the Star Wars action, the aliens, the different planets, the blasters, the spaceships, the everything, the, sci-fi stuff you want from Star Wars. The action in the 3rd episode. But it's also going to be a show that's not going to be afraid to take things slow, to actually develop characters, develop plot lines, develop the story, so you could have the setup and have the payoff be impactful. Something that a lot of the Star Wars shows, a lot of the Marvel shows, a lot of the Disney shows, a lot of, the stuff coming from all that lately hasn't had. It hasn't had this, slow build up. It seems that I've always been afraid to kind of have this slow build up to a payoff. It just kind of went right to the payoff without enough build up, and then it just kind of falls flat. It feels empty. But this does not. Again, this does not. This is not afraid to do it. This does have the setup to have the payoff be impactful. And I can't wait to see what happens next in it, where this goes from here, seeing Andor kind of become a rebel more, and have Eric Selvig be more of a mentor to him, and him becoming a rebel. I'm very excited to see all of that, how the characters that we've seen that, he leaves in the 3rd episode, how they're going to come back into play, how Bix is going to come back, how Marva's going to come back, how B is going to come back, what's going to happen to B. Hopefully nothing, but we'll see. Very excited to see where the show is going to go, which is weird, because again, I said this in my last video about D23, like, Andor has just been this show that has not been on my radar, really. I've just kind of been like, Andor, like, not really sure I wanted to have a show about casting Andor from Rogue One. Like, it just kind of feels like you could do other stuff with the Star Wars universe. Like, I just wasn't that excited about it. But, man, I mean, as I said, the trailers blew me away. Didn't necessarily blow me away. They just got me more interested. But this definitely blew me away. These 3 episodes. Like, they really got me like, okay, this is going to be a good show. This is going to be, finally, a Star Wars show with substance. Not just Star Wars fluff. Not just simple, hey, here's a cameo, here's a cool lightsaber duel. Oh, look, the character from that thing. Oh, that was a cool moment. But no. It's not just that. It actually has substance, actually is going to develop the story, develop the characters, have setup that will have a payoff that's impactful. I'm very excited to see where the show goes from here. So anyway, those are my thoughts on the first 3 episodes of Andor. Please comment below yours, and remember to give this video a like, subscribe to the channel, and maybe check out some of my other videos. And with that said, that's a wrap.